Mark, when you kind of look around college football these days, programs like Alabama and TCU that built their programs originally on defense are giving up a lot of points. When you look at your defense, how do you feel about them complementing your offense? Do you feel like, and what constitutes good defense these days?
A win. I think it's the bottom line, and it's always, everybody's goal is perfection. We'd love a shutout. We'd love to score 60 points every week and be perfect at everything, but that just doesn't happen. That's why, players are committed to each other, coaches are committed to the players, and everybody's committed to getting better. But there's always things that you don't anticipate when human beings are involved. And, the old adage of you play the game for all that stuff is true. And I love having that early game and sitting at home watching, other people suffer through those things going, wow, that can happen to somebody else. But I've never seen it. Never seen a game without a missed tackle. I've never ever seen a game without a missed assignment. And again, as long as everybody is committed to improving upon those things, and we're putting them in the right position to structurally do that, that we can live with that.
As you head into Pac-12 play, what have you made of the development of Tony Brooks-James, and what do you continue to see out of him that allows him to earn those reps?
I thought both the young running backs did some good things. They did some young running back things. They'll watch that film today and tomorrow, and smack themselves upside the head a few times of missed opportunities of just point of attack yardage, and part of that is just getting lined up correctly, having the right aiming point, and having the right eyes. And for whatever reason, we had one of those 2 or 3 didn't work. But they're competing. They're both tough guys, Taj Griffin and Tony. I think nothing but great things to come for both of them.
Mike.
With as much time as Jeff has spent in the program after Vernon having a chance to watch him play yesterday, is there anything that you think Vernon could learn or take away from what Jeff was doing, given how long he's spent in the program?
I think you can learn from every snap. As a quarterback, you can play every single play of every single game. If you're sitting at home watching the NFL and you're trying to identify pressure or coverage or schematically what either side's trying to do, you can do that every single rep of practice. You're watching a guy doing one-on-one. Every quarterback should be literally playing every rep in their mind, because you can't get enough reps of all the things that happen. Of you've got a perfect scenario and somebody slips and you have to get off to your next guy, whatever it is. Those things you cannot get enough reps as a quarterback. And so, for Vernon, a young guy in the system, has to take advantage of that even better than somebody who has.
Remember, Coach Wooden used to say that he used to.
Did you say Coach Wood or Coach Wooden?
John Wooden, yeah.
Okay.
Used to say that if he was going to be critical of his team, he tended to be after a win rather than after a loss. And I was wondering, with Pac-12 conference opening up, there might be a little bit more urgency about correcting some of those mistakes. And kind of in that light, your criticism may be a bit more pointed after a win than after last week.
Yeah, I think that's an old adage that does play out a lot. Is you can be harder on guys after success than you are after quote unquote failure. But at the same time, you have to improve every single week. You have to improve out of getting patted on the back, just out of getting yelled at or scrutinized or whatever the case may be. And that's part of the tough psychological grind that is the season. Is you have to stay in fix it mode. You have to be positive. You have to all point the same direction through great times and through the valleys.
Matt.
Brenner got the start at right guard, and then it seemed like Voller got in quite a bit as well on the left side. What'd you think of those two individually, and then your offense as a whole, or offensive line as a whole? Yeah,
the offensive line kind of told the tale of the offense in general. Just, again, some good, a little sluggish, too many penalties that were kind of unforced. And Doug did some good things, did some things that he'll want to correct in place of Cameron, who was not available. And then Evan is another guy that those guys just need to play more. They're guys that have been in the rotation, whether it's with Cameron Hunt or Matt Pearson. And Evan Voller has done some great things in practice and just needs that seasoning and excited about his future as well.
Chantel, do you have a question?
Yeah, Coach, I was just curious. Travis Wilson may or may not play this weekend against you guys, and they have him and Kendall Thompson. Curious for your thoughts on both of those quarterbacks and kind of the defensive game plan going into something with two quarterbacks who are pretty different.
Well, yeah, I guess first and foremost is Devontae Booker. Whoever's in there, they play off Devontae Booker differently. They played a third guy this week as well. And so, again, you're preparing schematically to stop Booker, job one, and then the play action game and or complementing quarterback run, all the other things that come off of those guys. It's kind of equal parts assignment football and then rally to the ball. Got to get multiple bodies on Booker.
Yeah, Mark, with Utah's staff turning over quite a bit in the off season, how deep do you have to go to scout the tendencies of the coaches who are now in those spots?
That's a great question, and we won't know that answer until we are out on the field, because that they played between Fresno State, Utah State, and Michigan, very, very different teams from us and different teams from each other. And so there's not a great, vault of information. We know, the tradition of Utah, and Coach Whittingham has been great defense, and there's certainly no exception this year. They dominated these games defensively and put themselves in great position, whether it's pick sixes, turnovers, just field position swings. They've done a tremendous job. Dimmick is a dynamic player, guy. I know he's been banged up here, but that guy always kind of got overshadowed by Nate Orchard, and he always seemed to show up just as much as those other guys. And they always have the 6'2", 6'3" corners, and they do a tremendous job.
Rob?
As a poll voter yourself, is that stuff just for entertainment at this point? Do you wonder how much of an influencer it might be on the playoff committee? Is it sort of percolates on things before they start publishing rankings and such?
I couldn't give any less thought to that right now. I don't know. I think I think that's purely for the media and for the fans to be involved in, and certainly the playoff element. I guess it's that much more important. So maybe I should pay attention a little bit more and be more vocal. Yeah, exactly. And that's the great thing about college football now with the playoff is I've said that before, as soon as they announce whether it was the BCS top whatever or the whatever they call it now, the first four or what, that's instant fodder for the rest of the year and get everybody excited about for weeks on end.
Mike?
Does Utah's defense show a pretty good balance, or are they a defense that relies on one aspect to try and make a team one-sided?
Well, they're very. Are you saying as far as their scheme or what they try to take away, or I guess I'm not
just
quite
sort of an overall sense of what they do.
Yeah, they're a little bit different than they've been in the past in these first three games, which again, I don't know exactly how much that will play into our game. They're based as a 4-down front. They're a 4-3 base defense with nickel and dime type options like a lot of people, and they want to get after you with 4 guys if they can. Then they also have the ability to play a base, basically a man free, single high defense, single high zone, and then various combinations in third downs. And they, I think if they absolutely had their choice, they'd love to rush forward and see how much they could get after you. And, they're always going to pressure people though. That's been, his MO for a long time. And again, they've been really good at it for time. Well, they're different, from our prep last year. Again, some of the principles are different. Their front four is really good. Very dynamic guys. They come off the ball extremely hard and run to the ball. I mean, it's a system that they have in place that they believe in a lot, and they're not afraid to press anybody. They're not afraid to get in people's faces and challenge you that way. And they do, again. They're a very, very good defensive football team. Not to say anything, take anything away from their offense or their special teams, which are also the special teams are another animal entirely. But you asked about that, so.
Did Braylon show enough to warrant the Wildcat being used throughout the rest of the season?
I think he definitely showed that in high school, of being a high school quarterback and seeing the variety of scheme that he played with in high school. We've seen that, and so we'll see, I guess.
Rob?
Impressions of Lockie's play after watching it on film?
Okay. I think in a lot of ways did a good job managing the game there at the beginning. A couple throwaways, put the ball in a couple good spots. If you're going to have a good incompletion, had that. Took the one sack there to back us up, which wasn't good, and just he'll look at the film and see some of the things he did just in terms of rhythm and timing and balance that he for a first-time guy, that's very, very much expected.
You guys are kind of down at 88th in the country right now in third down percentage, and you're kind of near the middle in fourth down. You obviously scored a ton of points, so in some ways it looks like maybe that's just a moot point. But are you concerned to kind of keeping the chains going and how that's gone so far?
Yes and no. Not necessarily for those numbers. We want to be great on first and second down. And, if it's 2nd and 2 and you convert the second down, then, third down doesn't happen. And so, at this point in the season, there's going to be some huge swings in percentages of whatever, red zone, third down, fourth down, all the different kind of, quantifiable things. Those numbers will swing back and forth as the season goes.
Everyone remembers Johnny Munt's Tennessee game, and he scored again yesterday. How has the other parts of his game evolved since he was a freshman to get him?
Johnny's improved a ton, and this, that Tennessee game was, what's the right word? I don't want to say lucky, serendipitous, maybe. That was what it was, of kind of how, they were defending certain plays that he was in, and it all kind of fell together. Not that he didn't earn it. It's just kind of how things happen game to game. But went through the normal peaks and valleys of being a young guy, and he's blocking better, he's running better, he's catching better. And so we're excited about his development. Absolutely.